We are live, slapping back at the forums and shilling debate. I'm Steve Westman with Mazzy. How are you, fellow
Norman Edward
shiller?
I wanted to call this the Big Shill, and we were trying to get
I have that record somewhere. I can't find the Big Shill.
Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner was cut out of this episode as well.
He was the dead guy that they went to the house to mourn. Kevin
and they
Costner
filmed sequences with him, but it was cut out. So the director, it's kind of as a payback, put him in the next movie, Silverado, and he was a main part of that movie. Okay, there we go.
There you
So
go.
what's this? I want to say something to begin with, okay?
Okay, go ahead. I was going to, go ahead.
I've known Steve now for, I don't know, 3 years maybe, or
4
something.
years maybe? I don't know.
We met in person in Vancouver about a year ago or so, a year and a half ago. Had a great day. It was wonderful. He is the nicest friggin' guy. All those Canadians are. I mean, it's the way we're treating them, and he's still nice to us, okay? Not me personally, but you know what's going on. So I think he's the greatest guy. So when I see these wankers, as I will call them, and it's a small segment, dumping on Steve Westman as his friend, I'm going to defend him.
Dumping?
I'm the one who gets all
dumping.
uppity and everything.
Okay, what's the dumping about though exactly? What are we dumping on? Because I have a lot of fun doing these shows. So first of all, let's just backtrack a little bit. I mean, when I first started with YouTube, I didn't just start with YouTube. I actually started on Facebook with the mobile fidelity and audiophile buy and sell group.
Shill.
Right? And then I built up a lot of relationships there. That got to 9,000 members. Wow. Then from there, I started my YouTube channel and was just doing reviews with MoFi.
Shill.
Shill is such a cheap word.
Absolutely.
Don't they just pay
cash grab?
They pay people in the audience to cheerlead, especially in a casino, to pretend they've won all this money. That's a shill. Yeah. So where was I going with that? So no, I built it up through Facebook. Still to this day, I mean, between the Rhino Hi-Fi page and the Analog Productions page and the MoFi or Audiophile buy and sell, that's how I got started.
See, you're naming brands. That's shilling. You're naming brands. You didn't just say Audiophile. You said, Analog Productions and Mobile Fidelity and Rhino Hi-Fi. That's shilling. You're working for the man, Steve. Are you getting paid for this?
Unfortunately not. Let me just say something, though. This is interesting. Everyone that's watching right now, I get contacted by a lot of different people in the YouTube industry. I'm like, cool, this person's agent or representative just emailed me. I'm like, this is cool. They want to come on my show? Awesome. So I'm like, yeah, that sounds really good. Then I get another email. Oh, well, they'll come on. It has to be scripted and it's going to cost this much money. I'm like, what? I have to pay you to come on my show? That's shilling.
That's like, when the actors go on Colbert or any of the late night shows, they get like union scale, which is small, but they're there promoting a record, promoting a movie, promoting a TV show. And David Letterman or whoever, I know he doesn't do it anymore, will get up and say, this is a new record by the Grateful Dead. And they're on the show. And he probably could take that home.
Rewind back there. All those shows, their guests do pre-interviews before the real interview. Right. So that's even scripted. So they even know, the guest really knows, and so does the interviewer. If it's Letterman or whoever, they know what to expect out of that interview. So when I do my interviews with, if it's Bruce Botnick, if I have whoever on, any master engineer, they don't ask me, hey, Steve, don't ask this, don't ask that. We just go.
Yeah. I think, I want to say this too, because I've done a couple of episodes of videos, and I don't do many live, at least up till now. I don't do a lot of live things. I think this is being rebroadcast on my channel as well, maybe. But I don't do a lot of live things like you do. I might do one a week eventually coming up, but so far, no, that's not my thing. I like creating it. Yep. And I have a history. I'm probably one of the oldest YouTube vinyl community people that have a substantial audience. I mean, 70 years old is not. So I grew up and then I worked in the business. People know my history, or some of the people do. So I have that experience but whenever I've done a video on like promos or things like that, a good part of my audience will comment and say, Mazzy, you don't have to defend yourself. We understand. We get it, what you're about. And I appreciate that. And we're not here to defend ourselves. Maybe we are a little bit, but we want to react to it because this bubbles up every once in a while.
Yeah.
And there's we'll mention the Hoffman foreign names. And by the way, Steve Hoffman has been a guest on your show 3 or 4 times.
So hang on. Let me just say Steve Hoffman and the Hoffman forums have never paid me to be on the show.
You have to donate to the Hoffman forums. They do that all the time. So they don't pay anybody. I mean, none of us get paid. Let's put that on the record. We don't get paid. We do, however, in some cases, probably me more than Steve, to be honest with you. I probably get more promos than Steve does because I do regular presentations. I am not a reviewer. I am not a critic. Occasionally I do shootouts when I think it's appropriate to original copies I have or older copies. And I find that, not everyone's going to like what you like or I like or watch our videos. But record labels have realized, and not just with us, you talk with the bigger labels, whether it's the Rick Beatos or the Justin Hawkins or the Doctor of Rock. Those are mega channels with millions of subscribers, aren't really part of this vinyl community. And I don't know what they do, but they have a big sort of marketing machine within their things. All the power to you. They worked hard for that over the years, one way or another. And in a way, is as large as our channel. Steve and I both have just north of 40,000 subscribers. So we're equal, but we do very different things. And I appreciate what Westman, now we're like patting each other on the back, brings here by bringing these record people in. And the criticism that he's gotten again once in a while is that not the hard-hitting questions. And
okay,
you're
you're
not hijacking
let me stop you right there.
To find out if Kevin Gray's cables got fucked up or if Joe Harley put on the wrong tape. I'm just using as an example.
So let me stop you right there. I've heard that before. Oh, Westman, you have these soft questions. That's why I can't watch the show or whatever it might be. Now, just like you, I'm friends with all these people because we're part of, we're part of the industry. We talk a lot. And why would I interrogate someone where they never come on the show? Just like I heard that there's many master engineers that were once part of the other forums that have now just vanished because they didn't want to deal with a lot of the criticism or abuse that they were getting.
Well, there were some big name mastering engineers and producers who used to go on, going back to Jeff Emmerich and Ken Scott and the Hoffman forums. And basically they got chased out because of rude, I understand you want to know the things, but you have to know a place and know who your audience is and know how you're approaching someone. And to bring them on and hijack and say,
I would never do that.
Like if you said, okay, I don't want to use a real name because then someone's going to clip this out and put Joe Blow, who worked for Columbia Records and cut that great Boston record. He screwed my wife before he produced that record in 1976. That someone would create a clip on that. That would be the horrible kind of thing to do that. But record labels basically see that we have an audience. Yeah. And I think the people that watch you and the people that watch me regularly or semi-regularly even get to understand what we're about and our taste. Now, people know I'm not a metal fan or a that type of stuff. People know there's certain artists, and I kind of dig in with Billy Joel and Phil Collins. I do a little tongue-in-cheek thing. I don't hate him as much as it appears, but they understand that. I hate Coldplay there, okay? But record companies understand that we have an audience. Now, remember when you used to read those Melody Maker reviews or Rolling Stone or Cream or Crawdaddy, whatever? I don't remember Dave Marsh or whoever they're saying, oh, by the way, I got this promo. Every friggin' critic gets promo records. And I was at a point was getting those promo records. I do want to start out because I played this morning, 52 years ago this week, literally. I just looked up the date. The first promo I got was this. I was wearing a Grateful Dead t-shirt at the Warehouse Records in San Francisco. Warner Brothers promo guy. We're coming back around to Warner Brothers. Walks in, sees my shirt, gives me this exact copy. This is Bear's Choice white label promo. Grateful Dead. It all began there. you know, the thing is they want you to play it in the store. They put up posters in the store. It was looser then, but you know, years later, I became that promo guy at ABC, that MCA. I would go into stores, put promos, posters up. I would give them records. You know, you're greasing the wheel in that respect. I've never paid anyone. Did I take them out to lunch? Sure. I took them out to lunch occasionally, that type of stuff. Some would say that's greasing the wheels. That's a part of business and marketing. That's what sales is about. You were in sales.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah. And then for me, I mean, it's the passion. So you can probably see that in my interviews. I just love chatting with the people from the industry. And I'll give just a little bit of backstory. When I had Bruce Botnick on that show with Kevin Gray and Patrick Milligan, I had prepared for 2-3 hours, had all these notes, was ready to do it, and it was recorded, right? And so we got on about 10-15 minutes before we decided to click on the record button. And just from the preamble, just the way things were going, I looked at my notes, Mazzy. I was like, oh crap, this is not going to flow the way I felt it was going to. And that's one thing as a host that I like to do is I want it to flow. I don't want it to be boring. I want people to be engaged and really find it interesting. So 5 minutes before we decided to press record, I changed up the entire structure of that interview. And I think it worked out really well. And I'm glad that I did. It's just based on when you first meet someone. You know what I mean? Are they going to talk a lot? Are they going to answer your questions? And I feel that one, the Bruce Botnick video, I'm very proud of to this day. It really did work out. But again, I spent a lot of time on that one. And all the notes that I used, I never went to.
Well, you've evolved quite a bit. I think all of us who do these YouTube videos and people, you know, the trolls or the wankers that hide behind phony names and stuff, that you know, they should get up here and do this. It's not. I'm not saying it's difficult, but it's not easy to hold your audience in one way or another. People either like us because our musical taste, maybe they like our personality or don't. Fair enough. You know, if they don't like a record and they don't like our taste, fair enough.
Yeah.
But we present these things. You know, 95% of in my videos, 95% of the music records I show, I either have owned for 20 to 50 years or I've bought. And the money I get from the commercials from YouTube, which ain't a lot.
Not much.
No, I put it back in and buying records. That's
Yep.
kind of my inventory, and
Yep.
I enjoy that. Do I get more records, promos? Do I get more labels reaching out? Yes. But I will tell you, there's a lot of records I get, and occasionally I turn things down. But records I get, I don't show everything I get. If it doesn't speak to me, and that I know sounds West Coast kumbaya, if it's a genre I'm not into, I'm not going to show it just to show it. But also, and on the other hand, this is something that's happened the last couple of years. There's been a couple times I like news reports, and I read everything from Instagram to Facebook to all the music blogs and stuff, and I get a sense of what's coming out. And 3 times now in the last year, I heard that something was coming out. I ran downstairs, grabbed my copy of it or something that relates to a release, if it's a box set. And I've shot a video literally at 6 in the morning, and I posted it by 8 a.m. 3 times within an hour, I got emails from a label I have no contact with saying, we just watched your video. We love it. We want to send you a copy of that when it comes out, if it's an upcoming release. So they're watching us collectively.
They are.
And it behooves them to spread the word more. We had a few comments here. When I heard about that Beatles mono box recently, I ran downstairs and made a video on that. I mean,
Well,
you know
no,
how quick that went.
well, hang on. You made a video of that, but what actually happened is I think it was 11 o'clock our time that day. You and I got on for
Right.
a couple of hours, and during our live show, it sold out, or they couldn't order it any longer.
Right. But that's the thing. Sometimes, you know, not everyone is watching Instagram and reading the news, but we do have an audience now. We built an audience. People watch us. So like yesterday, I did a thing. It was a rumor. I did a thing on the possibility of Buckingham Nicks finally coming out on vinyl again after 40 plus years. Now, I have no thing about that. We don't even know if Rhino is going to be able to do it. It sounds like Buckingham and Nicks have the rights to it again. But we know that just coincidentally on both Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham's Instagram feed, they did a little love letter lyric from that album. At the same time, Mick Fleetwood has a video of him listening to that song that got him to hire them to joined Fleetwood Mac. So that's no coincidence that the three of them made a video about Buckingham Nicks out of the blue. Now, it could be about the Rhino Hi-Fi 50th anniversary of
could be
the self-titled, but we don't
it's
know.
but it's in People's Magazine, so it has to be true.
Right. No, but when the artists do it, I mean, something's happened. There's,
Rhino does have the rights to Buckingham Nicks, just so everyone knows. I did post this, so just so you know, that it used to be a Polydor label. It's now a Rhino Hi-Fi. It could be a Rhino Hi-Fi, right?
So I made a video based on a rumor, and I said, this is A to B to C points to this. I don't know. I didn't get a confirmation. They haven't announced it yet, but I love doing those videos. It's a joy when I can go downstairs, and because I have a pretty decent collection, and it's a joy for me to pull something out from my own collection and showcase it. Here's another promo. Like, I got Bob Dylan, the Columbia guy, walks into my store in 1976, gives me this, gives me a Bob Dylan Hard Rain belt buckle. I got shilled when I was 21 years old in 1976.
So hang on, so Intervention Record, Shane for Intervention, sends me some promos, but I like to give back as well to our viewers. And last week or the week before, I did a contest. Email me your favorite Intervention record to give away a Joe Jackson Night and Dry LP. So I had over 100 people email me, went through them all. It was amazing. Thank you for all the comments. And there it is. Our winner from that is Christy S. from Alaska. Is going to get sent the Joe Jackson Night and Dry from Intervention Records. So thank you for everyone for emailing. So it was really nice to have that interaction with fans. So yeah, I get promos, but I'm giving them back, giving them away as well. Right?
I want to respond. Contra, has a question. I think we should respond to questions. Can you guys address objectivity in these relationships and promotional opportunities? I mean, I'll speak for myself.
Go.
And this guy from the polite Canadian can respond too. Since I'm not a hard-ass critic, if I get here's my philosophy for myself. If I get a major label release, either purchase or free, and I have a problem with it for whatever, I will say it. If I get something from an independent artist that sends me a record directly, that happens occasionally, and I don't like it, I probably won't even show it, just because I don't want to dump on someone who pressed 500 copies of a record. That's not happening for me. And kick someone when they're put all their hard-earned money and sweat into making a record. But I'm trying. Okay, a good example is, and this is kind of comes full tilt. And this brings us back to Rhino. Back in 1977 and 78, I got these two promos from the Warner Brothers guy. He's Elektra Records promo. They're giving to me 50 years later, right? Almost 50 years later, I get promos from Rhino of the exact same albums. I don't know if those people were even born yet who gave me these promos now. And I talked about this promo, and there was some controversy about that. I really like this record, and I like what Kevin Gray did to it. But there was some controversy, mainly because it started with Michael Fremer said, artist intent. It's not as screechy and harsh enough as the original. I like the original. For me, on my stereo, where I am in my age, maybe it's an age thing, I like that there's a little roll off. It doesn't take away from the intensity of the artist or the intention of the artist, but it works for me. And I said that. Now, if I didn't like it, I would, in fact, I did another one recently. I forgot what record it was, a Rhino record. And I said, oh, it was the last Fleetwood Mac, maybe. And I said the last one I thought was a hotter cut. Maybe it wasn't Fleetwood Mac. And I liked the last one because it was a hotter cut. So I try to be objective. And I think the audience that follows you regularly kind of knows when you're bullshitting them. I think people can tell. I hope, and maybe some can't. But it's my opinion, my taste, and my presentation. And I mean, you can kind of read between the lines. If something that I don't love as much, I may talk more about the music. But if something is really off on the sound, I talked about the George Harrison just now, the new double George Harrison reissue of it's the new comp that came out. And I thought they fucked it up. And apparently I didn't realize till after. It looks like Bernie Grumman cut it, but it's from a digital file. And I played All Things Must Pass, and the songs from All Things Must Pass are so far superior on the original than the new one. Now, I did buy that, but even if BMG had sent me that free, I would have said the exact same thing, whether you believe me or not.
So I get some test pressings, and we'll go back. We talked about this already, and we're not making this a Supertramp thing, but again, I'm holding up my Supertramp Crime of the Century Speaker's Corner. Speaker's Corner over the years, if you guys have a lot of them, know they're very compressed. A lot of EQ, a lot of bass. That's probably why a lot of people think they sound great. So Miles Scholl, who's recently he's recut Crime of the Century for Universal, would work with Ken Scott personally and sent me the test pressings of Crime of the Century, which I think come out in August. So these are the test pressings. He said, yeah, give them a go, Steve. Tell me what you think. So I did. And I said, wow, these things aren't very dynamic. They're the volume seems low. It just it doesn't have that compression. I even said, it doesn't have that same bass or compression the Speaker's Corner does. He goes, well, Steve, let me tell you. I said, what? He goes, well, Ken Scott wanted them that way. He wanted them to sound like they sounded in the studio on the tape. So that's what you're getting here. I personally like the Speaker's Corner better.
And how can we judge, really, in reality, what other people's taste is, what their rooms are like? I have a TV between my speakers, and people.
It's almost like music is subjective. Really, it is. I mean,
Absolutely.
I appreciate the promos that I get, but I'm not going out there. I'll show it. I say, hey, I mean, case in point. I mean, this is a big one. I mean, some people like the blacks. This is the Rhino Hi-Fi. Some people still like the original Vertigo Swirl UK. So when I knew about this one, and we know that that's really how I started my relationship with Rhino Hi-Fi with Patrick Milligan. I had Patrick on the show right after what was it, the Cars self-title came out. It was Patrick, myself, and Kevin. I said, Patrick, here's a great idea. Why don't you guys cut Black Sabbath self-titled to your hi-fi label? He goes, good idea, Steve. I'll check into that. And what was it? 6 months, 8 months later, we had it.
You're a Bengali.
Right?
I want to answer a question here. This is a fair question. We're going to try to answer questions. J.S. Safri, I don't know if that's J.M. Safri. Getting free records doesn't make you a shill, in my opinion. It just makes you a part of the record company marketing strategy. I would say absolutely. For instance, there's been controversy over the years historically with, let's take Rolling Stone again, because that was, in my generation, that was the big American music magazine for many, obviously Cream and others too. But there was things that they would trash a record. I mean, looking back on it, I remember when I read, the headline, "What is this shit?" And that was Grill Marcus's review of Bob Dylan of Self-Portrait. Now he was, about the music. There was another, I think it was a John Lennon thing or a Paul McCartney, where someone wrote it and they didn't like the review. So Jan Wenner decided he wanted to write a positive review on a release. And remember, Rolling Stone is also was taking a lot of record company advertising. So I'm sure there was behind the scenes stuff occasionally, but I think most of the writers that you like, again, Dave Marsh was one of them. Cameron Crowe was more of a feature writer than a reviewer, but I got to like certain reviewers, and you get to know their taste and how they write. Pat Gleason, Ralph J. Gleason, SF Chronicle, great jazz and rock and roll reviewer. I loved his stuff. He was paid by the Chronicle. He was getting free tickets to shows, free records, that kind of stuff. Of course, now with the fading of those magazines, YouTube is an opportunity for record companies. So in a way, we are part of that marketing machine. Like, again, I'm not comparing myself to Colbert. If I was, I'd be fired by the Trump administration.
But Mazzy, I think what it is here with us is that this is a really good opportunity for these labels to use our platforms for very little investment, just a few promos here and there.
Well, that's
it's actually a very smart marketing plan.
Some people will say the labels are taking advantage of us. It works both ways. We're enjoying getting some free records occasionally. Rhino has that guy, that African-American guy that does the new release thing. And I follow those and everything. My bet is most of the time we get more views than Rhino's thing. Same with Acoustic Sounds. But Chad will get a lot of views, definitely. But a lot of the labels that have their own channels get a lot fewer views than we do. Is it because of the personality? Is it because the seemingly objectivity? We're definitely a part. And I agree, we are part of the machine now. And I don't mean machine sounds negative. but we are part of the process. You go on all the talk shows when you have a new movie come out. You go on Letterman and, I'm dating myself, Colbert and Johnny Carson to promote your movie. That's part of it. You don't get hardball questions there. That's not what Westman's show is about.
Well,
It's not
let's talk about that. I
investigative
mean,
journalism.
no, I'm not an investigative journalist. Again, I want to get back to it. I am an enthusiast. I love vinyl records. I love the sound. I love testing and listening to different different pressings of the same artist, that type of thing, right? Being subjective or object, I know that was one of the questions. I go in, hey, I got, everyone knows I've got promos when I have, let's say, Patrick Milligan on from Rhino. It's pretty obvious, and I do say it. And I did say it today with Intervention Records. I'm not hiding anything. And I'm as, I think, subjective as I can possibly be. I'm not here to ruin people's careers. I mean, especially these people that are giving us the promos. I think you mentioned somewhere a lot of these people, these are their jobs. This is their family depends on these jobs as well. The master engineers, the people that work for these labels, these are their jobs, just like you and I have jobs as well. So who are we to go out and bash what they're doing? It's like, Mazzy, where did you work for your whole life? What did you do? You were in the photography business.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
10 years in the record business selling.
Okay. So,
and then promos.
So
then 38 years promoting the photographers, negotiating the photographers in the commercial advertising world.
Okay, so would you like to come on my show and then all of a sudden I'm bashing your career for the last 30 years and just trashing the work that you've done because I don't like it? Because I want to get views. I'm not out to get views.
Right.
I'm out to just have a really good conversation, get as much information out of our guests as we can, respectfully.
Yeah.
Each and every time.
There are legitimate questions, and I think the peanut gallery, I'm sure you have. I don't know if you had this. I don't do many live interviews, and I don't do many interviews. As I said, I did interview recently David Lowery from Camper Van Beethoven and Cracker, because he has a new like an autobiographical album out, and I reached out to that record company, Cooking Vinyl, because I'm a fan and I wanted to do that. And I probably got fewer views on that than I do on a friggin' whack-a-mole video. But I love the video and I'm going to do those things. But I didn't do it live. For me, it takes away my concentration going back with the peanut gallery when I'm alone doing a thing. When you have 4 guests on and they can talk amongst themselves, it's kind of easier to bring in the peanut gallery. So that's why I don't do what you do. I know people want to hear the okay, here, let's read it. We're getting a few things because there's someone here that always like challenges me, and I won't mention his name. He knows who he is. And yeah, another thing is, what has been brought up here is that in YouTube, when you get paid, literally paid money, I've never got paid money. I've gotten promotional things with records, but when you get paid money, and we're not in that realm of YouTube, some take advertising. There is a button you push, and it notates that. Now, I have a back and forth argument with this person who's here, saying that because we get free records, that's a form of payment. I don't think it is. I'm using that. I'm not getting paid to do that.
Screamed at free stuff.
No, it's not.
It's not. He's screaming at us.
It's basically, it's a way where I can show the friggin' record on my show and listen to it. It's not payment. I'm not getting paid for it. I'm not selling it. I'm not putting it on eBay.
I have promos I'm giving away to my viewers because I really respect you guys watching this, and I want to give it back to them as well, which you see that I do. I'm giving away lots of promos. I always do. And even my merchandise that I have, the Audiophile Roundtable merchandise, all proceeds go to a children's music charity. So
it's a marketing thing. We disagree there, and all fine. You think it's payment, that's fine. I hope you get payment. I hope you can, buy shoes and cereal and eggs from the promo I get from this label. I do it because I can showcase it. Book tours, book authors, reviewers. I'm getting a book coming out because I requested a promo of this book. And I'm going to say this right now. In a few weeks, I'm going to be an interview this woman that probably no one here knows, Amelia Davis. She's the archivist. She inherited the Jim Marshall photo collection. Jim Marshall was a photographer I knew for 30 years. He died about 15 years ago. He took the famous Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock and at Monterey. He took Miles Davis boxing gloves, the Johnny Cash flipping off. Great photographer, and he has a book coming out, Chronicle Books, all his collection of Grateful Dead photographs. And I'm a Dead fan. I'm a Jim Marshall fan. I know Amelia, and Chronicle's going to send me a book because I want to talk about that book. I could go up, pay $50 to buy it, but I think it works good for both of us. They're not paying me to do it. They didn't reach out to me to do it. I reached out because it's something I want to do. They could have said no, but all these companies have promo departments, promo people. That's what they do, literally. How many people here have bought a record in a store, which was almost illegal for a while in the late 70s? It turned out not to be, but loaned for promotional purposes only.
People are saying,
reserved.
Mazzy, people are saying, oh, promo was payment. Here's the thing. I believe you're paid if you have to actually pay income tax on it. Then I would say, yeah, you're getting paid. But with promos, you're not paying any income tax. It's a free gift. It's not something you're making money off of.
I need to send this back after 50 years to Warner Brothers Records.
Does that make sense to you, Mazzy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not, yeah.
So this whole, and we talk about the shilling debate. I mean, that's a little bit harsh. I mean,
I'm missing some questions here. I think we're
shilling.
Here's David, safe and sound. Let's see. Regardless of getting promos or buying your own, as I decided to do, personal integrity is the bottom line. Absolutely.
Exactly.
And I hope the audience can tell the difference. I think 98%, 99%, except for one guy here, can tell the difference when I'm bullshitting you. I don't do this to bullshit. I do this because I have a love for music that has never dissipated.
And I do these shows because I love learning. I put the live Audiophile Roundtable together to get as many people involved, to answer questions on master engineers and certain cuts, get everyone I could that I knew involved, and then reached out to industry and developed relationships with a lot of these people over the years as well, is how I started it.
If I was to add up the retail price of all the promos I did and offset that or divide it into the hours I do making videos, it would be about 39 cents an hour. so I if I'm getting rich on that, all the power to you.
Yeah, I mean, with YouTube especially, I think you have to. I mean, 1 million subscribers get you some money.
Yeah.
That's where the money starts.
Not that I'm not getting some money. I mean, I'm a retired person on Social Security. I know that sounds, I have a house that's paid for.
You're on fixed income.
That's my luck.
Yeah.
I'm on fixed income. So I turn my YouTube monetization into buying records for my YouTube channel. Okay, let's take some questions.
Absolutely.
Or
hang on, I want to just a little bit. Jeff here, he says, what do you think of the Beatles kerfuffle, the shipping? I mean, some got their Beatles monobox shipped. Others have to wait to, I think, September now, and they have to send an email saying yay or nay. They still want it, I think, is some issues people are having with that. Have you heard the same thing, Mazzy?
I heard, just the forum. That's the only place I've heard that some people got a notice that their box now got delayed till September. I have no idea.
And others got it. Others, I mean, I just looked on some of the forums today, and they're showing pictures of it.
The people I know who ordered it, it's on the way. It's the people up here in Seattle, and theirs are due in Seattle next week, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I've gotten recently a handful of small people I know from the vinyl community. There's a handful of artists that I still want to review, and I haven't yet. People I know, I'm not going to mention names now, but I love these records, and they did like 250, 500 run, and I bought copies. And a couple of people said, I would have sent you a copy, Maz. I love your channel. But to me, as an independent artist, I feel I want to pay that for that record. So I bought these 2 records in particular that I have here. I'm looking at them. I'm not going to show, and I'm going to review them probably next week. I've just been so wrapped up. So when it's an independent artist like that, I'd rather pay for it and then get a freebie.
I mean, I don't think anyone would say no to free records if they could get them.
Melinda Murphy does that. She says when she gets a free record, whenever I have free records, I say on my video, because I
Yep.
find people don't read. When I used to, we're talking about what business we worked in. When I did licensing and estimates for photo productions, and when I used to send the estimate and the terms and agreement, I found that 9 out of 10 clients, potential clients, didn't friggin' read it. They look at the bottom line and the number. They don't read the fine print. So to look for a button that says paid promotion, I literally say it in the video. So if you watch the video and I get it free, I said, I was sent this from Rhino or from Sony or whoever it is.
So a lot of people are getting their Beatles mono boxes. That's good to
Yeah.
see. And is it? I don't. I think that one of the issues we were, or I guess one of the things we were asking when this a couple weeks ago, when they had put it up on the website that we could order it or pre-order it, if that the Beatles Love insert was going to be included. And I'm assuming it is not in the new run. So maybe that's why the 2014 should be worth more, Mazzy, and the metal is fresher. I mean, that will be the argument, right?
You know, David Safe and Sound says, I have said no to promo records to maintain total independence, just a choice, not a that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I think, David, I literally do 5 videos a week. I don't think you do. So I have a lot of content and I like showcasing it. And I like people, you know what it is? I don't like unboxings, but I will showcase a presentation. To me, unboxing is a waste of time, cutting it open and unboxing it. But I know people like to see that. But there's a lot of people that say, well, I'm going to buy the CD or stream it because I can't afford the box. Well, I turn that money like the mind games. Okay, John Lennon's estate sends me a lot of stuff. They did not send me that big friggin' cube. Okay, I bought that, which means I turned the money from my YouTube into buying that box. But whenever they sent me their elemental sets, the John Lennon solo stuff, I've presented them and I friggin' love them. I've criticized the Harrison estate ones because I don't really like what Danny's doing as much. And so there are certain things that I've gotten that I've criticized if I don't like it. So yeah, it's up to each individual. You know, I'm not going to criticize David or anyone else for saying he wants to put
oh, that's great.
Put things away. You know,
I mean, everyone has their purpose. I mean, for me,
right.
I don't do reviews. I'm not doing shootouts. I did them at one time, and you get the pushback or the feedback from the shootouts, and everyone's ears are different, and listening rooms are different, and equipment's different. So, I mean,
I don't understand that. High Rand says the turning point in the BVC was when VR monetized. Who's VR? Vinyl Rewind? Is that Vinyl Rewind?
I have no idea.
You know, okay, let's talk just for a minute or a couple about monetization, because some
Sure.
people will criticize it. They're saying, I'm tired. I'm not going to watch this video. Too many friggin' commercials. Well, first of all, you can pay YouTube Premium and there's no commercials. There are blockers you can get, no YouTube commercials. The thing is, whether you monetize or not as a creator, whether you monetize or not, YouTube's going to put ads on your videos and they're going to start making money. So if I'm going to friggin' do the work, making these videos, which I love, it's not really work, but put the time in, I should say, doing these videos, I'm going to get some of that monetization because I'm getting eyeballs watching my videos and they're coming back to me because I'm doing these, showcasing my collection. So of course I'm going to monetize. I think you'd be stupid to let Google have all the money on your back, off your back.
I just think in my channel as well, I mean, going back to, I know some people maybe don't like what I do. That's cool. Everyone has their opinion. I just wanted, when I did put together the live Audiophile Roundtable, was to get people from the industry involved. And when I started, I had no idea where that would all get to and where it led to currently. I didn't go into it thinking, oh, Mazzy, I'm gonna get all these promos. I'm gonna, start promoting. That's wasn't my goal.
Yeah,
I started developing relationships with Kevin Gray, with Miles Scholl, with Patrick from Rhino. I even had a decent relationship with the guys from MoFi pre-DSD Gate, right? With Chad. So I mean, all of that. So it was really neat. Sort of as I evolved and started to learn more and got my channel more involved. All I want to do is bring these people on so I could ask them, hey, tell me about this record, tell me about that record. And from there, I was like, this is cool. This maybe will help our viewership who wouldn't be able to ask these questions or hear these answers from these people otherwise without this type of platform. That was that's the way I always pictured it when I first started
Yeah.
doing these interviews.
The reason a person like I like Michael Fremer and I like what he does. Now, there are people that don't like his shtick. I get his Jewish shtick and he does it like lady, all that stuff. Some people don't like it, but he's proven and he's worked his ass off over the years. One of the handful of people that kept vinyl alive, and I respect that. Do I like everything he does? No. But when he gets that equipment at reviews, reviewers who do gear don't get given equipment free, but they get access to it
They
for
get
several
industry.
months.
They get industry cost as well. So if they
Yeah,
wanted
and
it, they
if
get
they want to
industry
keep a
costs.
piece of item, they get it at the wholesale price. Exactly. Um, and so I respect that. But people know that as a critic, he has an audience. And people, I mean, if you watch the audiences for all these people, and I read comments in a lot of ways on a lot of their videos more than anything. It's amazing the bowing we get some of that too. Oh, I love your taste on that. Or Michael Fremer says something good about a thing, and all these people go saying, I'm going to buy it. Or Chad Kassem's different because he's a manufacturer. And I think that what he does is excellent. My only criticism that people are well aware of is the boxing, but it wasn't directed only to him.
Okay,
it was
so
the MoFi thing. But every record I get from him that I bought, I've never got a free record from Acoustic Sounds. Every record I bought is excellent. I've only had one issue on a defective thing, and it was replaced. So I applaud that.
So what do you see from the shows that I do? What do you get out of them, Mazzy, from the way you do your shows? We have completely different
Well,
channels and videos. And so
the
when you
last
sit
one you
down
did
to
was
watch it, what do you see?
the last one you did was one of my favorites because I'm on the Hoffman forums a lot. I participate there a lot, and I like it. And it's a little bit of car crash sometimes, but there's a lot of great information there. There's people here like John Bandy that's on there a lot that writes these long dissertations, which I tease him, but he's great at it. He's very thoughtful at it, and I enjoy that. But there was a thing about the self-titled Fleetwood Mac Rhino Hi-Fi, and people were saying, well, oh my God, that record again and all this. And it was great. Or the price, which you did discuss, of the 45s, and even the Rhino guy, which
Patrick
said,
he has no control over that. He
said,
wasn't even
yes, they are
happy with it.
expensive, more than he would like them to be,
Right.
but he's not part of that. So that did come up, and that was brought up. But you brought up, and we found out by you bringing in Kevin and Patrick about what makes this Rhino Hi-Fi different. Not only that it's the 50th anniversary,
Yeah.
and again, I did that video. It was announced. I didn't get a promo of that. I just liked that record, and I wanted to celebrate the 50th and made it a news announcement because a lot of people don't watch these other things. And your video a few days later talked about the tape issue, and hearing Kevin Gray.
Amazing.
I tell you a thing, you're relentless, and I mean this in the best way. You will ask people over and over and over again until they come on your show, right?
What do you mean?
Well, I understand that you've asked some
so
high-name people, and
so
they say no.
Steve Hoffman, everyone knows Steve Hoffman is a great example because he doesn't go on these shows, has he? Or I don't think he has. So I prospected. I'll use that because I was in the finance business for years and developed my own client book by cold calling for years. So I used that skill that I've had, and I prospected Steve Hoffman, Mazzy, and you know this because you and I would talk about this for 1 year. Guys, 1 year to get him on the live Audiophile Roundtable. And I think it went really well, the first one.
People love him. He'll say anything. And people are sometimes surprised what he says, and they enjoy it. And, he hasn't gone on anyone else's. I don't know if he's asked, but I'm sure certain things.
I'm sure.
You've asked Miles Scholl, you ask people over and over again until they come on. Now,
well, you sound like the way you frame it. You think I'm stalking people.
No,
I definitely not.
I wouldn't have the persistence you do, and I admire you for that. It's a compliment. I think it's great.
And in terms of softball questions, I mean, I ran into some problems as well. I mean, there was a master engineer I had booked on for the second time, and we had a show a week or two before. I think you were on that show where we discussed the up and coming Asia UHQR, where we found out later on that it was a EQ'd copy that was used to cut it. But before that, I think the information we have, it wasn't an EQ'd copy. So there's a little debate there. And because of that, I didn't get that interview.
Yeah.
It's like, so this is the thing. So I get it. So, I mean, these people will come on. I mean, you can't interrogate them.
You know,
I don't want to
yeah,
be interrogated. If I was to come on someone's show, I'd be like, oh man, this is not what I wanted to do. So when I sit down with people and do these shows, I look at it from the perspective, how would I want to be interviewed if I was Miles Scholl, if I was Kevin Gray, if I was Steve Hoffman,
right.
or if I was Bruce Botnick? And I mean, if you look at some of that, I really enjoyed, and I think I got a lot out of Steve Hoffman from an emotional point and from informational as well. We really dig each other. I mean, we're friends, and he's been on, what, 4 or 5 times now.
What you do, it's also a delicate balance. And I'm going to say this, and
Sure.
I think it's important to note, pretty much all the people, maybe except for Hoffman now, that you've interviewed are employees of another company. The people from Rhino, he doesn't own Rhino. Kevin Gray's not an employee. The mastering engineers.
He's a contract. He's
a
under contract.
contractor.
Yeah.
There's things they cannot say because they don't want to,
Yeah.
close a spigot of work. And I don't mean they're getting paid to do these things. If all of a sudden one of these people came out and said, that tape was shitty, they made me do something, and I think it was shitty, but they still put it out anyway. I mean, they're not going to come out and say that. You can't say that in a video. The employee, the record, how many people I know in the record business alone that have gotten laid off? They're either got aged out or laid off. We know that Sony decimated their reissue department in the last this year. The guy that worked on their Frank Sinatra, not archivist, I guess archivist at Sony Music.
Chuck Granada
got, after 40 years or 30 years, whatever it is, only guy that knows all the tapes and everything got, it's kind of, we know companies are getting bought out and rebought. So people have to be a little careful what they say on releases, about releases. So I think people don't understand that you can't just ask any question about that.
And I mean, none of my shows are scripted. There's a lot of shows out there, bigger channels, that are scripted. And I don't do that. The people that I have on don't have any expectations. They don't give me a list of questions. We just go and talk. And mostly these shows are live, so I can choose viewers' questions if I want, or I don't have to. Just depends. Depends on the flow of the show as well. So yeah, going back to these softball questions, and I've heard that. I've had people tell me, oh, in some of these forums, apparently people are saying you have these softball questions. It's really annoying. Well, these are these people's livelihoods.
Right. High Rant had a thing. High Rant's one of my favorite critics. We already talked about the paid promotion thing. We disagree on that. That's fine. But he talks about the monetizing on the death of musicians after they pass. Now, there's a delusion that every time someone dies, I make a video on it, and it ain't true. When it's
we joked on that the last time you were on.
I know we did, and I've joked about it too. If you guys know, every time someone dies, every friggin' person either makes a video on YouTube or post Instagram things. They celebrate the life of that musician. If it's a musician that really touches me in certain ways, yes, I make a video. It's not like I'm, I don't even think to turn the monetization.
I don't mean to be morbid here,
celebrating.
But one day Paul McCartney is going to pass, and I would bet you that there's going to be a lot of people doing videos that same day.
It happened that year when we lost
2016,
Leonard Cohen,
2016.
Yeah,
George Michael, Leonard Cohen, all those
are going to do that, So that's sort of a delusion. It's kind of like, what's his name? Not Paul Dooley.
I like this one. Spin the Black Circle.
Sam. Never said play it again, Sam.
I think Spin the Black Circle. Read that one.
I think you get the tone right, Steve. It's not friggin' journalistic critique. It's a celebration of the hobby with an expert. Exactly.
And that's what I'm doing. It's a celebration. I'm like, okay, and I get a few promos here and there. Am I critiquing those promos? Well, I mean, I'm listening to them. Sure.
Despite what people believe, I've never pre-recorded a death video ever. I'm considering my own, though, like a final video that a friend will push.
That is interesting. That's so
30 days after.
It's morbid, but interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Hang on. Bandy's already asking. So what is the conclusion here, Steve, Mazzy? We're not wrapping it up yet. We're just sort of talking. Going back to it. I mean, again, I don't have a problem with anyone if they don't like to watch my show and they want to criticize it. That's great. But I just want to understand that people have to have some context here. Number one, I get a few promos here and there. I'm not reviewing these. I show them and I say, hey, this is a promo I got from Rhino. I'm just happy to have these people on my show. I feel it's a great platform. Obviously, feel comfortable with me hosting Rhino. It was my idea, and I presented it to Rhino to present those pre-shows presenting. That was my idea, and I had to push that. It wasn't just like no one approached me. I said, "Okay, here's my idea," and then it went. The email went to the people above Patrick, and they said, "Okay, Steve, go ahead and do it." So I did it. I did those, what did I call them? The reveal shows or whatever that was. That
And
was
you
all
did them
my
well.
idea.
There is a symbiotic relationship that you have with Rhino, and they trust you, and you do it as an announcement, and you get the videos.
Well, I hear
And the
people
thing is,
saying it's a commercial, Westman, and all this, but it's fun. I love it.
it's a revealing. It's a new release thing. I mean, it's like, I used to be a big fan of Rolling Stone way back in the day when they had random notes. When you heard something was coming out and something is being released, you have an unveiling. Now with YouTube, it's kind of the next step, or way beyond the next step, like that. All the reviewers that write for Rolling Stone, they got paid by the company, and a lot of that payment comes indirectly from the record companies paying the ads and the liquor ads and the car ads in the magazine. There's always that thread, and you could say you don't doubt. In terms of the bottom line, you can doubt my take on a record that I got free. If that's the way you want, absolutely feel with it. I
love Chance, the way I think people mistake you trying to raise awareness. That's what it is. It's raising the awareness. I mean, I could have Intervention Records on, Because Sound Matters on. That's Grover, Rhino. No one's not getting paid for these people to be on. They're good friends of mine. Yeah, I get their promos. And I can tell you right now, Because Sound Matters, Grover texted me just yesterday. It was text bombing yesterday on my way home from work. It was, Steve, I got some amazing test pressings. You're going to love them. They're all AAA, from two artists that are from the mid 90s.
Let me
that was it. I just wanted to say that, Mazzy.
Yeah,
I think these will sell well, and I'm getting the TPs.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm excited.
I'm sure.
100% tell you.
Let me ask anybody who's a viewer of mine, okay, out there who have bought records. Seriously, I would like to get feedback. I haven't got this feedback. I haven't got this feedback. But has anyone ever bought a record that I suggested that when they got it, now maybe they didn't like the music, but did they ever have a real problem that they thought that what I said was not accurate to what they got in their response to it? I've never had anyone say, you told me this was a good sounding record. It's a piece of crap. I've never got that.
Subjective, though.
There was one example. I remember one time I just did a video, and I can't remember what, maybe it was after one of your conversations with Steve Hoffman. There's a copy he did of one of my favorite albums, the Dave Mason debut album. The original came out with the marbling back in the 70s, Alone Together. There's a copy that I think is it Kevin Grader? I think it's Steve Hoffman cut. Is it, what's that label he worked for?
Audio Fidelity?
Audio Fidelity, a copy of that. And I've had it in my collection for decades or however long it's been out. And I just pulled it out and I played it. And I thought, oh my God, this is friggin' great, better than the original. So I did a video on it. But before I went live, I looked on Discogs and there were like 30 copies there. Okay. Within 24 hours after that video, all the copies but one were sold. Now, is it a coincidence? Maybe. That's not a new release.
Yeah.
I'm not shilling for the label, but people trusted me. I never got anyone writing me back and say, hey, Mazzy, you told me to buy this record and it's a piece of crap. It sounds horrible. So that's a validation right there. That's not a major label. That's not getting a promo from anyone. I bought that record originally.
So Diesel 65, yeah, it's annoying trying to get this back in. I agree with that. I've mentioned to Rhino how annoying that is to get it back in the, we know this. I don't like it either.
That's brought up every time.
It's annoying as heck, and that's been brought up. I've talked to Patrick about it. I mean, it's annoying. See this? Look at this. It's annoying. It really is, and I don't like that either.
The workaround, which people don't like, but it's the workaround, is putting a MoFi sleeve in there. Or let me try an example. I made a short video on this. Maybe it won't work on screen, but okay.
There, I got it in.
That's what she said. So here's what you do. You press it against your chest, right?
Did you make a video on just how to put Rhino
I made
hi-fi
a
records
short.
into it?
Short.
Oh my gosh,
You,
I did not know
you
that.
flex. How hard was that? Did you see what I did? I flexed it and it slipped in.
There you go.
That's what she said, right?
Oh boy. Okay, we're rating G-rated here. Come on.
Okay. Let's more questions.
Yeah, I've got a few. Hang on, I wanted to go back here.
I'm like a magician.
I want to say, I mean, I think they're talking about Fremer here as a real deal. He replied to my out of the blue email in 30 seconds and answered the questions. I mean, Michael Fremer, love or hate him,
Yeah.
he's sort of the godfather of the vinyl industry, if you really want to look at it. I mean, he's the one that stuck with it all these years for 40
totally
plus
agree.
years, right? I mean, you got to give him the respect, love him or hate him. And I will say, like, he's been on my show a bunch of times, and Michael is the one that really helped me get my show to where it is today, with him being on and obviously him aware of what I was doing and giving me advice, constructive advice, sometimes nasty email advice. I mean, we've had our ins and outs, Michael and I. I won't deny that.
I appreciate Michael not only for his talent. I hope he's watching this. I don't think he is, but maybe he'll watch and rebroadcast on double speed.
I think people do triple speed.
I like his gear thing. I like his shtick, as I said, but also I like his snarkiness, isn't in irreverence, and I relate to that because sometimes I emulate that. Not emulating Fremer, but I can be a smartass, and Fremer can be a smartass. So I appreciate that in him. Some people don't like it; they want the straight ahead, straight things. But when you're making these YouTube videos, not aside from just showing music and sharing the love we have for music, I want to entertain the troops a little bit. I want to have a little fun with it. That's why a whack-a-mole, works better for some people more than when I do a dissertation and get serious on something. So I
love this. Bandy's going back. Steve Mazzy, what is the conclusion? He's asked again.
I don't think there is. What do you expect, Bandy? Ask a question. How you think we should conclude this conversation? I don't know.
I appreciate revelry too, right? Thank you. It's Westman. Huge props to you how you built a rapport with all these guys. Deserves a round of applause. You be single-handedly responsible for the Rhino hi-fi release of Black Sabbath. Thank you. And I got my name in the credits of Black Sabbath. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yes. Michael Fremer should make another Dizzy video. I'm sure Mazzy would love it. Yeah, he totally mocked me, but I see the humor in it. I didn't take it personally. He used me to represent all these vinyl record holder uppers and a guy with a hat with glasses and phony beard or whatever, totally. He was using me as the poster child for this. I don't take that, in fact, it was a compliment. Parody is a form of flattery, I think. So what, Bandy, come on, what is,
The conclusion is this. I think he can please everyone. I'm not shilling. I have all the different people from the industry on. I'm not comparing records. I'm not going up there going, oh my God, guys, this is the best record ever. I've never said that. But any of the stuff that I have, I bring on the Kevin Grays. I bring on the Miles Scholes. I bring on Matt Luthans. I asked him, Matt, tell us about what you did with this tape. And he tells us, what more can I do? You're getting information you're not going to get anywhere else. Never.
So any record people out there, any record label people out there, we're just another component in the tree of life for the record industry.
A cheap tree of life. We don't get paid. We get a promo here or there.
And some people have said, there's this whole thing going on. If you've watched the Rick Beatos and the Dr. Rock or Professor of Rock and all that about, you can't play music. And I did my kind of response to that about, we are promoting records and they should really allow us to use clips of music without, giving us copyright strikes. Now, I will say I've never had a copyright strike. Like everyone else, when I record a video, I upload it in private, and right away, within literally 3 minutes, I can find out if I can play that song or not. I don't play a lot of clips, but when I do my travel videos, I add music because I like using it as a soundtrack. So I think it helps, but usually I know what to pick and what I can play Grateful Dead or not Dylan or Rolling Stones, but I can't play the Beatles or Dylan. So I don't do that. I like that. You know, I but again, what I said in that video is I promote artists, so I understand with photographers about copyright and licensing and permissions. And I think for the sake of reviewers, like they do with book snippets and excerpts, they should allow us to play some of this music. And there needs to be an easy way. You can't blame YouTube for this. It's not YouTube's fault. It's the labels and the choice when they have music there that you can play. They need to make it a way that they can use the music, maybe 30 seconds, a minute of the music.
Even 5 seconds are getting struck. There's been
You
strikes
want to get
on,
a
right?
sense of it. I've used Yoko's music. Yeah, I've played Yoko's music several times.
No one's going to copyright that, so you're safe.
Well, no, John Lennon is very protected. I can't use John Lennon songs, but which is great because some people hate Yoko and have never really listened to a good Yoko track. But that's a whole other issue. And every year on her birthday, I do a video and I use a track like Walking on Thin Ice or another one. And I love it. And to me, it adds to the flavor of the video. And I like that. That's why all these movies use rock music, because it adds something and people are familiar with these songs. You can be joking. It's okay. I think I used Rick's as a punchline yesterday because he commented about Buckingham Nicks. It's a terrible cover because they're naked. Looks like they just had sex and made the record. And I said, so
look at how cheesy
look
at how cheesy Lindsey Buckingham looks there. Like, that's cheesy.
They're
1973.
good-looking people, half naked. Good for all the power to them. They're what? They're 25 years old there or something.
So if that does get repressed and it's a limited edition, that's going to sell out probably quicker than anything.
They shouldn't do a limited. I mean, if they do a Rhino Hi-Fi, they should definitely do a regular version too.
Well, I think if Rhino Hi-Fi does it, they'll probably do the regular, like let's say 5,000 of the numbered and then unlimited unnumbered after that. That's probably what's going to happen. That will probably be, I think, because Black Sabbath, I mean, they're self-titled.
It's already decided. So
this was their biggest selling record ever, right? For Rhino Hi-Fi, one of the top ones. I bet you this one will beat it. I think Buckingham Nicks will beat Ozzy.
Well, we all know, and Patrick, I didn't know this. Patrick said something on your show the other day, Patrick Milligan of Rhino, which I thought was kind of cool, or kind of interesting, I should say. He said the biggest selling artist for Rhino right now is Fleetwood
Mac.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Rumors and Like Dusk, the self-titled, the whole catalog.
I was getting a lot of some other people complaining about my softball questions about Giant Steps, John Coltrane, because it's a analog stereo mix, right? That was cut to vinyl with Matt Luthans. That came up. I guess what happens is some of these tapes or some of these titles come up for repress, and because the stereo came up, they decided to go hi-fi with it. That's the answer to it. Will there be a mono? Who knows? There might be one day, but I think what has to happen, things have to come up for them to cut as well.
Hey, Vinyl Kick, you said there should be a Yoko Ono reissue campaign. There has been. Secret Canadian has put all of them out, but they didn't finish it yet, unfortunately. They're up to... I don't think they've done Season of Glass yet. Just before Season of Glass, they have all the John and Yoko.
I'm going to spin the black circle. He's saying Buckingham Nicks won't be audiophile. It's mass consumption. I say this. It'll be both audiophile and mass consumption is my guess.
That's what it should be.
So that's what I think will happen there. I mean, it is a cheesy. Look at that. It's a cheesy. I don't know. It seems like a cheesy.
Jason, I'm not monetized. And I do record shootouts with actual. I'm sorry, it keeps slipping up here. I get some copyright strikes. I don't care. I want people to listen to the records, and that's exactly right. You do a good thing. There are certain channels that do these like DJ things. Seeking a Thread Dom does it. Obviously, him and Stunty, who do these kind of thing. The music they play is a little more esoteric, a little more off the. I want to say off kilter, not as commercial. So of course, those records you're not going to get. And it's a great service. I've purchased records based on listening to people who play records. I don't do that kind of thing on my channel, but I admire that. I think it's great. And the thing is, monetizing or not, it's up to you. I put in the work now, so that's how I say
if they do this, it'll be the biggest selling record of the year by far.
What
And
hasn't been in print since like 82, I think.
I know, and this is a Canadian copy. This says your collector's item, so it would have been a reissue back then,
Well, there
whatever
are a
year
lot
it
of
was.
also, I don't know about that one, but there are
This
a
is a
lot of
gatefold. I think there's ones that aren't actually. There's
there are a
ones
lot
that
of gray
aren't.
market versions of that
There's
going
ones that
on.
aren't gatefold either, right?
Yeah. Apparently, I didn't know that, but someone commented on my thing. Yeah.
This is quality record. So if it does happen, I think there'll be an audio file. I think there'll be a non-audio file one.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I played that yesterday, the Buckingham Nixon, first time in about maybe 3 or 4 years, and it is really good. I think it's a Robert Ludwig cut, and it's a really good sounding, at least my version, a really good sounding record.
What I
I mean,
like
it
about
sounds like Fleetwood Mac.
I was going to say it sounds like Fleetwood Mac's first album with both of them on, and they're in Rumors.
And the drumming is Jim Keltner, and he doesn't have a sound like Mick Fleetwood, but he's got a solid beat. So Jim Keltner and Waddy Wachtel on that record make it fits in that LA scene. Right.
Yeah. So if it was to come out again, I'm assuming if it was Rhino to do it, they would do the gatefold again, just like this with the lyrics inside, right? And there's some that aren't gatefold as well.
Yeah, mine's a gatefold too.
Can't see it that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people have a problem with Lindsay's shoulder. It's a little bit double jointed or something.
Get in line.
He didn't shave his chest for that either, man. Come on, Lindsay.
Yeah, Jim Keltner's great. Let's see what. It's not that great of an album musically. Yeah, you're wrong, John Loper. Sorry. No, it's my opinion. I think
if it wasn't for this album, Mick Fleetwood wouldn't be going, Lindsay, can you come in our band?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come in your band only if Stevie comes, and then the rest is history.
Yeah. I think it's if you don't like that Fleetwood Mac, if you like Fleetwood Mac 75, it's the same thing. It sounds the same, except for Christine McVie. I mean,
I'm being called Steve Cavett Westman. Was Dick Cavett a Canuck? I've got the same voice as Dick Cavett.
Is he a Canadian? He's so laid back.
He's pretty dead.
He's like the intellect. He's alive.
Dick Cavett's still alive?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
I know. He's 116.
Yeah. He's probably still doing promos.
Yeah. I think, I don't think there is no conclusion. Basically, we're going to do what the fuck we want. Sorry, I said that, but
I enjoy what I do. I enjoy doing the live Audiophile Roundtable. I love bringing on people from the industry. I will ask them the questions I can without pissing them off, so they do come back on, and getting the most information for you guys, the viewers. That's my goal. I get a few promos here and there. Just today, well, guess what? I had a promo from Intervention Records. What have I done? Well, we gave it away to Kirsty from Alaska. She got it. So I mean, I'm having fun.
High Rent says, if it wasn't for TikTok, would kids be buying Fleetwood Mac? Maybe not. And
again,
that's another outlet.
Again, another marketing outlet or platform for record labels. If everything's changed, and this is the other thing too, right? So back when you were younger, Maz, or even myself, there was no platform other than going to the record store or listening to it on the radio. And then going to the record store going, holy crap, you don't even know what the song is. You may probably miss the DJ even saying the artist and the songs. So then you go to the record store and you hum the notes, or you sort of figure out who it was. And that's what I did. There's no Google search for it.
I guess we're getting close to the end, but as I showed, I just want
the end of the show or the end of our life? What are we talking?
So again, the Warner Brothers guys gave me this promo, but in addition, they gave me a press kit. I have a George Harrison Somewhere in England press kit. This is what record companies do. Literally, record companies, like every other friggin' business, has promotion departments. You know how many emails I get every day, mostly from these Japanese companies that want me to review their earpods or manscaping shit.
I get emails like that every single day.
And what they say is they're not going to pay you, but they'll say is
free product.
We'll send you a copy. You put a Amazon affiliate link, and we'll give you X percentage.
So I feel that's shilling. I would never do that.
Yeah, I don't do that. Now, if I will say this, and if you're watching advertisers out there, and record companies won't pay us anyway because they just don't pay people like this.
No,
I would do a gin brand. So if there's a gin brand, or if Stetson Hats out of Texas, USA wants to compensate me, and I will wear their product and drink their gin I am available for
So I was
shilling your
thinking
project
this. If we're gonna do the ultimate shill, here's what I suggest, Mazzy. Do a Westman and Mazzy road trip down the Pacific West Coast, sponsored by, I don't know, VW electric vans. That'd be cool. And we do a whole trek and we go visit Bernie Grundman Studios, Chris and Bernie there. We go visit Kevin. We go visit the Rhino Studios. We'll go visit Universal and really set it up, all sponsored by these companies. That
Well,
would be, would that
okay.
be shilling? That would be kind of cool.
Well, it would be, but see, shilling is not a bad thing. If here's the deal, it's co-op advertising. Okay, that's what it is. We talked about this before, and I've talked about it. I was in that business for almost 4 decades, and I was involved with my photographers. Some of it was motion, but most of it was still print work, where we would do these co-ops with 2 or 3 brands together. Okay, Volkswagen, Toyota. I did a lot of car photography. A lot of times, and I thought about this with you said that you kind of said exactly something I thought about last year with Volkswagen. I wanted to pitch Volkswagen, get their electric bus. They're not going to give me one forever, but the new electric van, give me it for 2 months or something, and a stipend, which you do for expenses. And I even figured out and put a budget together because I know what things cost in terms of those kind of things. And what we used to get paid to produce a photo shoot, what I would do and what we would do on that YouTube road trip, doing that with using the bus as a lifestyle type thing, it would be less for them and with our YouTube videos than what they'd pay for doing like a 3-day photo shoot or a 2-day photo shoot. So doing interactive compensation, you see all the stuff on HGTV about renovating your bathroom in 3 days for $1,500, and all the subcontractors and Kohler Plumbing and fixtures that donate stuff to get brand identity. That's a big thing.
You know what I find annoying? You see some of these reality TV stars. If you go to their Instagram, all they're doing is pitching product.
Oh, absolutely.
I can't stand that.
Literally, that's what quote influencers are. Whether you like them or not.
Yeah. But they're getting paid a lot of money to do that. And it's like, really? People buy that? People are buying Kardashian lipstick? Clearly they are.
Yeah. That's not our audience, but and the problem is maybe our audience, things that we represent, don't pay out in that respect, and we don't have millions of.
No, I think to really make the money and get the real influence, it's 1 million subs. That's the minimum I feel right now in this sort of. And we're such a niche, but Mazzy, we're such a niche market. I mean, there's not to get to 1 million.
Yeah, absolutely. He asked, who in the hell is commissioning photo shooting? I'm out of it, but I have friends still in it. It's a lot less than it used to be, absolutely. But I do have friends, especially like I used to represent 2 food photographers. They were the ones that were always busy, because think about this. Yes, you can AI and you can buy stock for everything else. With food photography, all that food packaging you see in the supermarket of pizza flavors and rice bowls and burritos, all that has to be actually shot. Every flavor has to be. You can't CGI food for food packaging with the FDA, unless Trump gets rid of the FDA, which he's trying to do. But for right now, it has to be legitimate. So food photographers are still doing very well in some cases, most cases.
So I've had a lot of people ask me about Because Sound Matters. I've had Grover on a bunch of times with Chris Bellman and others, right? And had some really good conversations with him. He's given me test pressing. So Grover from Because Sound Matters, Mazzy. How do you do that? Just flex it. There you go.
Flex it against your.
Yeah, it's a good workout.
What is that called? It's not my chest. It's where the bone is.
Well, it's your ribs. It's your rib cage almost.
Slides right in.
So listen.
Rocket science.
We're getting, Because Sound Matters is set. I'm getting the test pressings for 2 artists from mid-90s, AAA, cut by Chris Bellman. And no, not Grover from Sesame Street. Grover Beery, Rick's from Because Sound Matters. So, mid-90s, AAA, 2 artists. I don't know when it's coming out, but I'm getting the test pressings. I should have them on Tuesday, according to Grover.
Let me ask you this, Steve Westman, since you're I don't want to call you a shill, but you're
oh my gosh,
a partner in terms of presentations. You help with the Rhino rollouts.
It was let me go back. It was my idea to do the Rhino rollout the way it happened. That was my idea. And it was something I had to push and be very tenacious with. It wasn't something that was like, oh my gosh, Steve, right away. No, I had to, like getting Steve Hoffman on as a guest, I had to go back, be consistent, say, hey, are we going to do this? Are we going to, and I didn't hear anything back. Oh, by the way, I still want to make sure we can do this. So it was my idea to get these rollouts which was, Patrick and myself on Rhino saying, hey, now guess what, guys? Good news here. We've got Black Sabbath self-titled for the first time, right? That was my idea, and that was one of the very first shows we did. I think it was actually television is the first one Patrick and I did, promoting that one, right? So that was pretty exciting. It was all my idea. I thought, hey, this is a good opportunity.
And
I like the product. I really did.
and you
And,
know
I like all
what?
the people involved.
That's a service that you've
I
brought
don't
to the
know.
vinyl
I
community,
don't
because
find that in it.
whenever that happens, that Friday morning, or whenever it usually is, when you
Yeah.
announce it with
Yeah.
Patrick, people watch that stuff. Now, usually what happens, Rhino jumps the gun and puts their ad up.
It's
30 minutes
5:15 in the morning is
well,
actually
then you
comes
should
out.
post
And
your video at 5:15.
well, the Rhino people say, no, Steve, you got to wait till 6
Yeah,
a.m. I'm like,
there are things now. This is something, if you want to know in the background of some of this stuff. Whenever we do get promos, sometimes of a new release, we get, it's like the movie studios, or call them embargoes. Okay. For instance, now with the new, the Superman movie, there was an embargo that people that saw it could not legally review it till a certain date and time. Right now with the Fantastic Four, I mean, I'm using this as an example because a lot of people are into the comic book movies. I think it's Monday or Tuesday. There's an embargo for the new Fantastic Four, which people have seen now. People in the industry have seen, but the reviewers, all those YouTubers, now those YouTubers will get tickets to movies and get your ass kicked by Marvel and DC and Warner Brothers and whoever on that level. But they can't, and they get millions of viewers, hundreds of thousands of viewers, unlike us. But they can't do that. Classic shill, calling a shill. So, they're helping DC, Warner Brothers, but people love to watch this stuff and hear that stuff, at least real fans. Because YouTube, more people are watching YouTube than are watching broadcast TV now.
No, I mean, and again, getting back to it in terms of the shilling debate and softball questions, I mean, that's the big thing, and slapping back at the forums. I mean, getting back to it, like I said before, it was my idea with Rhino to come up with the self-titled Sabbath. They even put my name in the frickin' liner notes as a special thank you because it was my idea, and I pushed them for this, guys, for everyone watching, because I knew it was going to be a big deal for all of us audiophiles and fans of this record. We got it done.
So you got your name there, but you didn't get like Mike Ingroove, your initials in the dead wax
God, no.
of the Doors out.
No, I didn't get that. See? I know. Didn't get that one.
I want to thank Steve. Steve and I had a little chat about this because of these Hoffman Forum conversations. I'm going to wind this down.
I'm not getting defensive.
We're responding. That's what it is. I think we both take a lighthearted reality. If I was worried about this, I would
definitely not shills. The conclusion is we're just having a lot of fun. We've got a great community here. People come and want to just watch the people we have on the show, or my show, and your videos on your records, and that's all this is. It's great.
As I said in the beginning, I wanted to, but Steve wouldn't allow me to call this show the Big Shill. Get it? See what I did there? Not really.
Kevin Costner's not dead.
Yeah, we enjoy that. We do this because we want to, So I don't know what else to say.
Concluding this,
here's a cool promo.
You're going to shill some more?
I got a promo of this, and the Warner Brothers guys gave me.
That's terrible.
See the glasses, George Harrison glasses, 33 1/3 glasses. That's silly. I bet you I could sell these for $200 on eBay, though.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we did learn that we're going to see some more Black Sabbath probably next year. I'm going to assume in chronological. So that's exciting.
You don't have any hints for August?
Well, I do. I have no.
I don't know what they are. I want to tell everyone. I have no idea what's coming out.
But in terms of shill, I don't know. I mean, that's just a ridiculous, lazy word. I'm an enthusiast that gets a few promos. like I said before, from the marketing and from the Rhino side, those were my ideas. So I didn't get paid for them. I wish I should have maybe negotiated a contract, get an agent, that type of thing. But guys, I want you to be aware too. I've been approached by other big YouTube people who've wanted to come on the live Audiophile Roundtable, but not live, have a scripted show, and I pay them for their services to come on. I'm like, no, not going to happen. So that to me is a little sketchy.
Yeah. You know, I think, again, this is my bottom line. I've said this during the last 90 minutes or whatever it's been. I think most people, unless the people are already on your ass and want to bust your balls, kind of know when you're honest about something. You're an honest broker, and they get to know your tone. And when it's false, I do things over the top sometimes that are, of course, they're supposedly over the top. Some people don't get the humor. Maybe it's not funny to some people. Fine. But I think people get the tone, and I think people who follow you regularly, whether it's me or any of the other channels, Bob Bradley's channel or Melinda Murphy, or any of the hundreds of vinyl channels out there, people get a sense of their taste and what is real and what's bullshit. I think there's a bullshit factor that most people can understand.
I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, bringing on some amazing guests from the industry for all our viewers to learn more. Keep asking those softball questions as much as I can. And I appreciate everyone that's watched today. I appreciate all the people that subscribe to our channels, Mazzy. Thank you so much. And I like to give it back as well. So, I mean, you learned today that Christy from Alaska got the latest Joe Jackson Intervention Records promo that I received. So I'll be emailing that out to her on Monday. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the support. It's not shilling. We're just chilling.
Thank you, Steve, for being Canadian.
No problem, eh?